And out to the Yelewata attack, we did mention that the trial of 9 suspects linked to the June 2025 Yelewata massacre continues today before Justice Joyce Abdul-Malik. Now, following Thursday's explosive testimony from the police intelligence response team, the court is expected to resume hearings on events from June 13, when over 200 people were killed in Guma local government area. The suspects, including Ardo Lawal Mohammed, face a 57-count charge including terrorism and mass murder. The prosecution previously detailed a coordinated operation allegedly commissioned and funded by regional actors. Right now, News Central's Sagir Ibrahim joins us live to give us more updates on this. Sagir, after nearly 2 years of monitoring this case, how does the testimonies of yesterday on commissioned attacks and pooled resources by regional actors change the narrative of the farmer-herder clashes in Benue State?
Oh, good afternoon, Blessings. It changes it in the sense that this is the first time, Blessings, that we've heard comprehensively the reasons behind some of these attacks. So we've, on several occasions, had to visit Benue State. The attacks in Ukum, Logo, the attacks in Gwe East, the attacks in Gwe West, Naka, the attacks in Kwande local government, both in Jatoaka down to Abande community, and even the attempted attack in Awase community just recently. We have been on the ground monitoring these developments, and when all of this happened, Blessings, they had always ascribed the attacks to non-state actors and to armed assailants. In fact, there was an occasion where they had ascribed the attacks to individuals who were militia groups that were not Nigerians, because at some point or the others, witnesses had mentioned that they were speaking languages that were not synonymous to any known language, in Nigeria. So these were some of the reasons that have been given, and some of the individuals that has been identified. But I believe this is the first time, really, that we've heard that the reasons behind the attacks or the strategy leading to the attack came from a particular locations by individuals who sat down, strategized, hired armed militias, and then deployed these militias to these areas for the reasons that have now been made public. So the testimony of the witness at this point on Thursday, yesterday, really threw the case open to a different dimension that not so many individuals had understood or seen the case from. So the prism has quite widened with regards to the attacks that we've been seeing, in Benue State. And dare I say, now that we have heard this testimony, it then brings to question some of the other attacks that we've seen in other parts of the country that have been styled in the same fashion that we've seen the attacks in Benue State take over the course of the last 1.5 plus years. Blessings.
Sagir, with the Attorney General leading the arraignment on February 2nd and a 57-count terrorism charge in play, what are the implications for security and community morale, especially in Yelewata and even the surrounding border areas?
Okay, Blessings, before I answer that question, a quick update to give. The case at the Federal High Court, which is supposed to continue today, indeed commenced and then was abruptly postponed. It was adjourned to the 4th of March because of the fact that the 7th and the 8th defendants in this case did not have legal representation. So the case was supposed to continue today in court, but then that has now been adjourned because of this fact. Now, back to your question, Blessings. For residents of these communities, for individuals on the streets of Benue State, for them, they just want justice. I mean, you're sleeping in your house, you didn't offend anybody. It's not a matter of you owing loan sharks money or owing a cartel money and them sending individuals to you to come and take an arm or a leg as a result of the fact that you're owing money. You did not offend anybody and you're minding your business only to one night have your life change completely for the worse, not even for any reasons that is remotely ascribed to anything that you have done. For these individuals, the choice for them is nothing close to anything that they can handle, aside the fact that they just want justice. Justice for the fact that they didn't offend anybody and their lives have taken a turn for the worse. Justice for the fact that they now have to live with traumas, both physical and psychological trauma, as a result of this attack that ordinarily shouldn't have happened to them. Justice for these respondents, for justice for these community members, justice for these individuals, families who have lost loved ones, lost family members, lost friends, lost neighbors, lost businesses, and some of them, of course, losing their lives for no particular reason of their doing. For them, they want to see justice. And I believe that the government of the day has shown some commitment, because when this hearing started on the 2nd of February, the Attorney General of the Federation led the charge by himself, which shows some commitment by the federal government that they intend, to see this and spearhead this trial from the federal or the national level, as the case may be. What they are expecting now, that is residents of these communities, is that more commitments be made to ensure that this is not swept under the carpet, that it is not just for the optics, that when all of this is happening and then we get to the nitty-gritty of, the issues that are at hand, Nigerians will be able to see that justice is served, and justice is served in the interest of those who have been transgressed. I believe this is what Nigerians want. This is what residents of the communities want. And by extension, for those in the different parts of the country, not just Benue State. There's been attacks in Zamfara, there's been attacks in Katsina, there's been attacks in several states, including Kebbi, Niger, Borno, Adamawa, among many other states. There are residents there who are indeed disgruntled. There are residents there who have indeed been affected and impacted by insecurity, by the activities of non-state actors. I believe that if the government does its own part in ensuring that residents in Benue get some justice from what happened, then these other residents, these other individuals across these different states will have a feeling of, if it can happen here, then it definitely can happen in our case. Back to you, blessings.
All right, Sagir, Ibrahim there on the sad case of the Yelewata massacre. Well, the case has been adjourned now because there is currently no legal representative of the defendants. But News Central is still very much on ground to bring you the development as it unfolds.